March 13th, 2014. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 42 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I am Mark Duvall, and of course, next to me, Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So, big news. We finally have a voicemail hotline.
Nice.
A number that listeners can call, leave us messages.
Leave us messages, and we will get back to them?
Well, what we'll do is we'll play their clip on the show, and then
There
we'll
you
respond
go.
on the show, right?
Okay.
Because we may not know how to get back at them. They're just leaving a message, right?
Right.
But we'll definitely try to respond. Like if they call up, hey, Dr. Mike and Mark, what the hell is your problem? We'll play it on the air.
We won't have time to go over all of our problems.
Yeah, we can't cover
It's
everything.
too numerous.
That's true. We only have a certain amount of time for the podcast, but we'll try to
I
respond.
can give you the worst one of the day.
Okay, that'll be the thing.
That'll be
your new thing. What's the worst?
What's your worst problem today?
Okay. Here's the number, everybody. 951-292-4377.
That's too hard to remember.
Okay, here's another way to
Right.
remember. It's 951-2-WAGERS.
Wagers. W-A-G-E-R-S?
Yeah, so 951, the number 2, and then the word wagers.
Okay.
But, if you do, like, I remember I used a phone once that didn't have the letters on them.
Right.
So, if all we said was, wagers, you'd have to think, okay, where's the W? Where's the, but anyway.
Where's the W? That'd be the hard one. Where's the W?
We'll of course, post the number on our website, and it's already in our app. So if you have our app and you just go to contacts, one of the options is just call the show. You just click that, do it, leave us a message. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, we're opening ourselves up to a lot of messages here.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I mean, we love feedback. That's the huge part. We talked about it last time on the show that for podcasters, feedback is such a big thing. Because we know there are people out there who are listening who don't give us feedback, and that's fine,
Yeah, not everyone has to.
But, when we get feedback, then we know, okay, we like this part of the show, we don't like this, it's very good. Now, unfortunately, recently I got an email from one of our listeners who was upset because we had not responded to an email that he sent. And I felt bad about this because what I do is, I've got the emails that we receive are in our inbox. And after I've responded to an email, I move it out of the inbox, just for organizational purposes. And I moved this one email out before I had responded to him. And, he wrote back and just thought it was kind of rude. And it was definitely my fault. I feel bad. It certainly was not intentional.
Well, and let me say this. Mark is the kind of person that will always respond to people and is very organized.
Usually I am.
Yeah, you are. You're very, you're the kind of guy that types up show notes so we can have something to follow.
Sure.
I'm the winged guy. If I was in charge of that, probably about half would get an email back,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So for you to miss it, it really was
Yeah, and I feel bad, and stuff like that hangs over my head. So hopefully we didn't lose him as a listener. But anyway, folks, if you email us, if you leave a message on our voicemail, we're going to respond, certainly as best as we can. So we did get some responses from people about the story we told last time about a $500 chip that was on the casino floor. Just real quick. We were at Harrah's Rincon, and somebody just walking along found a $500 chip on the carpet and picked it up and gave it to the pit
And
boss.
turned it in.
So we asked everybody, well, what would you do? The responses we got from listeners was unanimous that they would have kept the chip
100%.
and cashed it in. Yeah. And like you said on the last show, there's really no wrong answer to this.
Yeah, because I can certainly see keeping the chip.
And a lot of people were saying, if they turned it in, they didn't feel confident that the
Right.
casino would work hard to try to get it back to its rightful owner.
Right. And to be honest, I doubt if they would put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah.
They'd probably put some.
Yep, maybe.
But, I don't think they're going to go to a lot of effort. They probably just lock it up. And,
Yeah.
if somebody complains, they might, look at a tape to see if it really was them and then give it back.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to hunt the person down.
No. So anyway, that was the response, was basically, I'd cash it in. So
Well, that's why I've started taking a name tag. with my player number and my name and putting it on my shirt.
Is that what you're doing these days?
And I make sure the camera sees it. That way, if anything happens, they'll know it's me. Good or bad.
Really? You don't feel self-conscious about that or feel like an idiot? You don't feel like an idiot?
My name is Doofus. And there's
around. All right, good luck. Another thing you could do too, Mike, is just hang on to your chips.
Yeah,
another
that's
option.
true. That's true.
Know. Something you might think about. Yeah. Hey, did you get your Full Tilt refund?
I have been refunded.
Nice. So those of us, hopefully everybody out there who had Full Tilt money coming back got their refund.
Right.
They sent them out last week. I had a little over $200 in my account. What'd you have?
71.
71. Oh, that was more than you thought, probably,
yeah,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think I had any.
So it was
somehow I had 71.
That is so great because honestly, when this all came down and, they said, well, we don't have the money. Well, I just thought, well, I'm never going to see that again. It really seemed like, well, we're never going to see this money again. And luckily, I only, between the two of us, we didn't have that much money on there. There were people with, 5 figures, 6 figures on the,
right.
So, that's great. So, it was refunded. They put it in our checking accounts, or that's where I had mine sent.
Right.
I went today to the bank, took out the cash. It's now part of my kitty.
Oh, boy.
I've got it.
Yeah, good thing you went and got it before your wife locked it up.
See, that's right. Because
if she finds $250 laying on the ground, she's keeping it.
That's right. That's right. She's not turning it in.
No way.
She doesn't know where it's going.
It's going to her Starbucks fund.
Nice. A few episodes ago, Mike took a craps quiz. Right? I asked him some questions about craps terms to see if he knew what they were. And you did a pretty good job.
I got most of them.
You got most of them.
Yeah.
But one of the terms that you did not get.
Yeah, which I have never heard before.
Was the word skinny. Now, according to this website that we've gone to, skinny is a slang term for 7 in craps. Big red 7. So we say, oh, give me a $5 skinny. That means give me $5 on 7.
Do you think maybe that's an East Coast term?
I don't know.
Like, guys shooting craps in a alley somewhere.
And saying, come on, skinny.
Not really a casino, but like in an alley and,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we went to the casino and Mike without saying anything to the dealers, you threw in a chip, right?
Right.
And you said, give me a $15 three-way skinny. And they didn't know what you were talking about.
No.
And we ended up going around and asking virtually all the dealers who were on shift that night, and nobody had heard that term.
Nobody had heard that term.
Yeah.
No, they're all fairly young.
Yeah, but still, they knew what a buffalo was. I mean, that's an obscure term too, right?
Yeah, you don't hear that much.
But sure enough, they didn't know what skinny was. Yeah. So I don't know. Was this a real term? Was it just something that was on this webpage that's not, somebody out there, let us know if you've ever heard the skinny
actually used by somebody.
As somebody.
Maybe if it isn't, we'll just start saying that.
Yeah,
pretty soon it's like, give me a skinny, 7 will be gone.
Well, let's actually make up something new. Let's not use skinny that might actually be a term.
Okay.
Let's just, give me $5 bucket of blood.
Bucket of blood.
Right? It's red.
I want a 3-way bucket of blood.
3-way bucket of blood. Great. It turns out that's actually a term for something else. You got it. They lay all the numbers.
Now bucket of blood sounds like, a lot, not just a little blood. It's a bucket of blood. That'd be a 3-way 7. That makes sense.
I think so.
Then you don't have to say 3-way.
Let's just try.
Bucket of blood.
Next time we're there, I just throw out your money. Give me $5 bucket of blood. See where they put it.
$6. You better bet it's $6.
$6 so you can go 3-way.
Yeah, 3 ways.
All right. So skinny. Let us know if you've heard skinny is used as a craps term. Oh my gosh. Well, that same night, tell them about the guy at the table who was yelling.
Yeah. So this guy walks up to the craps table, and there was kind of an open area in the hook on the other side of the table from where we were standing, and he just starts the dealer. I think you were rolling.
I might have been rolling.
I think it was you rolling.
I might have been rolling. And again,
before you rolled,
this is at Harrah's Rincon. And just to remind listeners too, California casinos, the craps games have to be based on cards.
Right.
So when we're out there, we roll 2 dice, and based on the dice, they turn over cards that represent the roll.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're getting ready to roll. Guy walks up to the table and just stands there. Doesn't have any bets. No, doesn't even have any money in front of him. He just starts yelling, "Yo! Yo!" And he's yelling, 4 or 5 real loud yo's.
Yeah.
So then you roll the dice, and the dice are 5-3. So they turn over the green card, the number 5 green card, and the number 3 red card. And the roll is like a 10. It's like 6-4.
Yep.
So then the guy turns to the dealer and says, how come I didn't get paid on my yo? And it's like, they look at him like, kind of like, what? And then finally somebody says, well, you didn't have a bet on yo. And then the stick man says, and the roll was 10. No, I saw it right there on the dice. And they said, but the dice were 5. There was no 11 anywhere.
Yeah. And didn't he say something like, well, doesn't yo mean 11?
Doesn't yo mean 11? And he's yelling, yo!
Yeah, yo means 11, but sir, you didn't have a bet on yo, the dice didn't come up yo, and the cards didn't come up yo.
And he just
we're not sure.
He just looked so confused. And I mean, it kind of slowed the game down. And the funny thing is, then he just walked away mumbling. And he wasn't a vagrant. I mean, he was dressed fairly nice and stuff. Obviously, had a little too much to drink.
I guess.
And maybe he thought he was in the game. It's like,
that's right.
I used to be in this game.
I've been standing here for a few hours, haven't I? Yo!
He's just yelling yo. And everyone's looking at him like, what's that guy yelling yo for? And it was like in the middle of the roll. So it wasn't like,
wasn't
we were coming out or anything.
No,
Just, yo! So then I said, it's the middle of a roll. Yell for something you want. And I yell out 9 and you roll and it's a 9.
That's right. You just arbitrarily chose 9.
I just arbitrarily.
I don't think you had any extra money on 9.
No.
Like
As a matter of fact, I think that was I had the least amount of money on 9.
Right, so we just started yelling 9 after that, just for the heck of it. This point wasn't 9. 9!
People are looking over there to see what's going on.
I remember I raised my hands when the 9 came. Yeah. I was like, 9! I'm looking down. I've got no money on a 9. You've got like a little place.
The other table next to us looking over like we hit the fire bed or something.
That's right. They're looking. Oh, they're having a hot hand over there.
Hot hand over there.
Yeah, 9 came up.
That's a beautiful thing about craps, too. I mean, if you just make a lot of noise for no particular reason, everyone around you thinks you're winning. Yeah, it's like my dad will be playing 3-card poker. Oh, I heard a lot of yelling. You guys winning? And I'm like, no, that was like the other table. And they were probably yelling because a point was finally made.
That's right. The guy had $1 yo.
Yeah, $1 yo.
That's what happened, right? He won $15. Yo!
Oh, that guy, I'll never forget it. And he just looked confused, like, well, 11's yo, right? Like he made a mistake.
All right. Well, let's talk a little more craps. Why don't we? We got a couple of emails from some listeners. We got one from listener Eric, who asked, what are your opinions on the don't pass? And the don't pass, for those familiar with crap, it's basically the opposite of the pass line. It's not typically a bet that most players make. Usually people are betting the pass line, and don't pass is the opposite. It's not the exact opposite, because on the come out roll, whereas a pass line bet will lose on a 12, the don't pass doesn't win on a 12. It's a push.
Yeah, or 2.
Or some casinos, it's a 2. 2 or 12. So that's how the casino maintains their edge. Anyway, Eric goes on, I never play the don't pass and usually resent anybody that does. But I think I might try a different approach on this next Vegas trip. And then we also got an email from listener Dan. He says, I think I prefer wrong way betting, which is also a term for betting the wrong way. Right. Even though there's nothing wrong about it. It's just that there's a community feeling at a craps table where, you should be betting the right way, not the wrong way.
Right.
I think I prefer wrong way betting in craps because of some strange contrarian gambling instinct, kind of like Richard Dreyfuss in the movie Let It Ride, our favorite gambling movie.
Good movie.
Yeah, this is good. And want to know if this is considered bad craps etiquette. If you were the shooter, would you take it as a slight if someone bet the don't pass line? Also, if you were a wrong way bettor, would you take the dice when they were passed around to you and essentially bet against yourself? So, let's talk about the don't pass.
Well, let me first say, the funny thing is about this. Now, we're going to tell you, the truth about the don't pass, right? But seriously, when a guy's at the table and we're on the pass line and there's another guy in the don't pass, we always turn to each other and let's kill him. Let's knock him off. Good roll and he'll leave. He's out of here.
That's right.
Like we just gang up on him for no reason.
And we don't say it out loud.
No.
I mean, it's just between it's just our kind of little joke. I really have nothing against. In fact, we've even talked with with don't players, you know, when they're
yeah.
betting, you know, the opposite of
Right.
us on
And
tables.
it's not a bad way to play.
But no, it's not at all. And I do it very often.
That's
I'll
it.
tell
Yeah.
some stories here, but yeah, it is fun when you get on a hot roll.
Yeah, when you get on a roll,
you're
you just
saying,
want to knock him
just
off.
get him off of there. So, one thing, so a lot of players will say that when you're betting the don't pass, you're betting with the house.
That's probably the most common misconception.
Oh yeah, you know, you
in a
should bet with
craps
the
game.
house. Yeah. And you're not betting with the house. Yes. You know, a lot of times when you win on the don't pass, the house is winning because almost everybody else is betting on the pass line.
Right.
But you're not betting with the house. They still have an edge.
They still have an edge, yes.
So, you know, again.
And we bid on plenty of tables where don't pass players and pass players lose.
Sure. Yeah. That can
same
happen just the
amount,
way
yeah.
that it comes up. Right. Again, you know, don't pass. You will, you know, lose on 7-11 on that come out roll, right? And you know, when you're a pass line player, you kind of have that advantage on the come out roll of winning on 7-11. It's a disadvantage on the don't pass. And, you know, with don't pass, you move up to numbers that got rolled, your point, and, you know, you win if a 7 comes up. But it's not with the house. That's what we're trying to say.
Right.
If you want to bet the don't, and I actually recommend that everybody try it at least once to
Sure.
see what they think of it. You're going to need a thick skin because even though other players shouldn't give you a hard time about it, they might.
They do. They do.
They'll
will.
glare at you or they may actually say something to you. And in fact, dealers might even do the same.
Right.
I've had dealers who, you know, just despise don't players.
Right.
Right. You know, and
It's kind of because it's a community game.
Right.
It's not like blackjack where your hand, doesn't matter what the next guy's hand is. This is your hand. You play your hand. In craps, you're all playing together.
yeah, for the most part. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so people see it if they're, 90% of the people are on the pass line. Those few that are on the don't pass seem like the enemy, seem like,
right.
because they're going to win when you lose.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now, so you're going to need a thick skin when you're at the table. Also, it's my feeling that when you're betting the don't, you need to just shut up and play
Right.
and not cheer when you win. You know, it's one of those times where I don't think
Right.
you should
Well,
cheer.
a lot of people are superstitious. They won't even say 7 during a roll.
Right.
Like I've had people yell at me because I'm explaining the game to somebody and the person will say, "Now I don't get it. Now when am I going to lose?" Well, you're going to lose when a 7 comes up. And what? You said 7.
Right.
Like, like the dice are listening
Right.
or something. And I'm as superstitious as they come.
Well, but you're not really superstitious. I mean,
yeah.
you kind of like superstition as part of the fun
Right.
of the game.
Right.
But you don't really think that when you
No.
say 7, a 7
No,
is
and that's
any more
why
likely
if I'm
to come
explaining
up.
the game to somebody, I just say 7, right?
Yeah, right.
But there'll be people who'll be violently mad at you, and it'd be the same if you were playing the don't and you were sitting there, come on 7, come on 7. You're gonna get some grief.
So, again, people might be rude to you. I think it's just important not to be rude to what is probably everybody else at the player and not cheer, not be, rooting
Right.
for a 7, not really showing any emotion at all. That's my feeling.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the way I am when I play the don't. We had a player the other night who was standing right next to me, who was playing the don't. What he was actually doing was on the come out roll, he was laying against the 10. He was actually making a lay bet against the 10.
That's a very common bet.
Which is kind of like a don't pass. It's like a buy bet, except the opposite of a
Right.
buy bet. You're right.
So he's hoping for a 7 on
he's
the come
hoping
out.
for a 7 and no 10. So he was betting $100 no 10, which would pay 50, right? Because the payoff is 1 to 2.
Right.
And he was putting $25 on don't pass. And so if 7 came up on that come out roll, he'd lose his don't pass,
Right.
but he'd win
Win
$50
$50
on the lay bet, right?
Sure.
And then he'd do it again.
He's screwed if 10 comes up.
Yeah, that's what really hurts him if 10 comes up. But if some other number would come up, like a 5, he'd take that 10 down right away.
Right.
And then his don't pass would be, on the 5, right? Basically a no
Right.
5. Anyway, he was playing this way. And then I got the dice. He put his lay 10 out, put a don't pass on. I rolled a 10. So he lost his lay 10. His don't pass went up to a 10. He didn't make any other bets. I immediately made my 10
Right back. Yeah, I remember that.
You remember
Right
that?
back.
Yeah. So he lost his don't pass and he stopped betting on my roll.
Right.
Right. He just stood there and that must have been his system. It's like, okay, I missed out on this roll. I'm stopping.
Stopping.
Never said a word. He was even kind of stepping back away from the table. I think it was
Right.
with his wife. He was very polite. And this is what really impressed me. I had a fairly decent roll and rolled for a while. He wasn't making any additional bets. He waited until I was done with my roll before he colored up.
Right.
He could have colored up as soon as, I had rolled that 10 again, just, in the middle of the roll. But he had enough respect for everybody else at the table who may have superstitions or anger or whatever.
He didn't want to slow the game down.
He didn't want to slow it down. He waited until my roll was over before coloring up. I was really impressed with that.
No, he was a good player. Yeah. This is how good a player he was. I didn't even realize he was betting the don't.
Oh, really?
And I was sitting on the other side of you.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was him betting on the don't.
Yeah.
Because it was so subtle. You know, it wasn't a big commotion or anything.
Yeah. Another reason that I think you need to have a thick skin is that when you are betting the don't, and let's say you're making like a don't pass or a don't come bet every time, you're establishing numbers. When that hot roll comes, unless you stop betting, maybe your plan is, okay, once a few numbers are rolled, I'm just going to stand back. Yeah. But if you're the kind of player who's just going to bet a don't come every time, figuring that 7's coming eventually, a hot roll can be extremely painful.
Right.
For a couple of reasons. Of course, you're winning, but now you're losing. You're losing. But now it's a situation where everybody else at the table is winning and whooping it up and maybe winning a lot. And now you're thinking, oh, why am I not on betting the right way?
Right.
Here, right.
Right. And that's the thing. And that's the reason I personally don't play the don't.
Yeah.
And I have played the don't in past years.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't is because I like the action when we're all winning. Sure, I like the excitement, the screaming.
Yeah.
I've never seen a table where everyone's playing the don't and, 4 numbers are rolled and then 7 comes up and we all whoop it up. It's never that way. I like the fact that, there's a lot of action and excitement and we're all together. So I tend to play the pass. Now, a lot of it's timing.
Of course.
How many times have just the other night, right? I left the table for a while. You immediately went to the don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it was perfect. I mean, it was perfect.
I will never bet the don't if Mike's on the table because I don't want to be betting against him, basically, right? So, and you really don't play the don't anymore. But when you get up to do something, like a couple of weeks ago, you went to get some more money. Last time you needed to order some food. As soon as he walks away from the table, I'll switch over to the don't pass. And these last 2 weeks, it was, I think 3 different rollers during times when you were away from the table. Yeah, and I won.
Yeah.
I mean, it was perfect.
Well, that one was perfect. The guy made 3 numbers and then 7 down. He went up on all 3 of them. Then I came back.
Yeah, then you came back, and then it was my turn to shoot, and then I had this huge roll.
Right.
So
it was perfect.
What lesson can be gleaned here? I'm not sure there is one, because I could have easily lost every time you walked away, right? And I bet the don't.
Right.
But, I'll do that. One thing, too, and this actually happened when you left, a 7 on a come out is that situation that can work for right way bettors and wrong way bettors.
Right.
So when you have come bets up on the table and it's the come out roll, the odds on your come bet are automatically off. Right? Unless you explicitly call them on, they're automatically off. So if a 7 comes up, you lose your base bet come bet, but you get your odds back. Well, with don't come, the laying odds that you've got up there, they're working.
Yeah.
Right? So a 7 on the come out, all the people on the pass line, they win. And then if you have a bunch of numbers up there on don't come, you win.
And your odds win. You win.
And the
your
odds
base
win,
bet
right.
And your odds.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the odds are, they're the opposite. They really are the exact opposite of taking odds on the pass line and the come bet. So for example, just the 6, if you lay $30 on a don't pass odds on the 6 and the 7 comes up, you get paid $25. The payoff is 5 to 6.
Right.
Right. So, there are situations where you could be at a table and everybody wins, the don't players and the pass line players. That kind of happened when you actually walked away this last week. People on the betting the pass line won, but I won too because the 7s were coming up on the come out roll.
Best case scenario would be you're not on the pass line for the come out. The point's 5. Then you're on the don't come. A 6 comes up, then an 8, then a 9. Then they make the 5.
Right.
So we all win on the pass line. Then we're coming out again. 7 rolls.
Yep.
We win our pass line bet. You win all your odds bets and everything.
Yep.
No one lost a bet.
Yeah, right. Except maybe some people that had come bets lost their base come bets, but they got their odds back.
But they got their odds back.
All right. Without getting too technical, asking about, okay, will I shoot from the don't? I have a long time ago, like when I was first learning the game, but I don't shoot from the don't anymore.
No, I think the best thing to do if you're a don't player is if you really want to shoot, just go to the pass line.
Yeah.
The reasoning behind that is it's like, okay, I'm going to have a good roll.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to have a crappy roll. No, you just be positive. You're going to have a good roll. Go to the pass line.
Right.
May or may not work out for you.
Yeah, of course
If you
not.
don't want to do that, just pass the dice.
Just pass the dice. Yeah.
Just pass the dice. Let the next guy have the crappy roll.
That's my feeling. Sometimes we'll get shooters who shoot from the don't. I personally have no problem with that.
I always laugh about that because inevitably they always announce it. And the dealers will usually say, oh, shooting from the don't.
Shooting from the don't.
They'll announce that. Shooting from the don't.
Yeah,
and the player usually says, oh, yeah, don't bet on me because I'm a terrible roller. I always roll terrible.
Yes.
And then I just still go out there, my normal betting, and I laugh after they've made 4 points.
Yeah, right.
And remember, we've seen a few people who've walked away.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of their don't roll.
Well, of course.
They're
right?
rolling
they're
from
out
the
of money.
don't, and they're like, okay, and they just leave. And then it gets, I've had that happen to me several times where the dice were passed to me.
Yeah.
And I have to finish their roll.
Yeah. But so, I mean, basically answering the email here, I will play the don't every once in a while, usually if you're not at the table, but it's certainly not bad craps etiquette.
Oh, no.
Now, I guess it would depend who you ask. There are probably some people who would say, oh, that's terrible etiquette, right, to bet the don't. But really, give me a break. It's a bet that you can make on the table. Anyone else can make that bet.
Right.
That'd
be like saying it's bad etiquette to go to a $3 slot machine and put in a dollar at a time. Right. You're not going to win the jackpot.
Yeah.
It's not, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, right?
Okay, I guess that's
right. I mean, it's
I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, some people might look at you and say, well, that's stupid. Always bet the max.
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, that's just the way I want to play. It's same with craps, right?
Sure.
If you want to play the don't, you want to play the don't.
Yeah, exactly. But make sure you have a thick skin because you may get some abuse, hopefully only verbal and not physical abuse.
Yeah.
And
we have seen it almost come to that.
Be prepared for a hot shooter or several hot shooters. And, you won't always win. There have been trips where I bet don't exclusively and lost big time. It was just like, and then, I kind of feel like, oh, why didn't I just bet, the pass line? But you can't think that way because it could have gone either way.
I'll tell you, the worst thing to do is to switch back and forth.
I think so. Again,
I mean, if you're going to do it for one roll while I'm gone, that's one thing.
Right.
But if you're going to play the first hour on the don't and then switch to the pass line for a while and then go back and forth because and statistically it shouldn't matter.
Right.
But what happens is inevitably somebody gets on a hot roll and you're on the don't, or somebody gets on a bad roll and you're on the pass line, and then you're second guessing yourself and you feel terrible.
Yeah, don't go on hunches. Yeah. If you're there and you've decided, okay, I'm going to play don't pass tonight, then go ahead.
Right.
And if you do decide to switch, I agree. Don't go back and forth because
if you decide to switch, it's fine. Switch and go the other way the rest of the time, but don't 15 minutes later switch back.
Right.
That's like saying you're never going to play 3-card poker again and then walking right over to the table.
Who would do something like that?
It's crazy.
Amazing.
I'll tell you.
But again, just to make it clear, we're not saying that this is statistically a bad idea going back and forth.
No.
Or that, you're going to lose by doing that. It's just that emotionally.
It's an emotionally bad idea.
Yeah, because you're going to be beating yourself up if things go badly. It's like, I guessed the wrong way every time, and that'll eat you up, and there's no reason to go through that.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the don't pass. Is there anything we left out on talking about the don't? Anything more you want to say? We were talking about it in the car. How there's the table is really made for the pass line, and this. Making your point and everything. Because we were saying, there's no bet where you can bet on a no hard 6.
Right.
Or, you're going to bet that the next roll won't be an 11 or, anything like that, right? It's basically the only thing you can do for don't pass is bet don't pass, don't come, and make lay bets.
Right.
Right. There's, so it's.
Yeah, you can't do anything. It's like, I want a don't world.
Right.
Or a don't horn bet.
Right. Or a don't field.
Yeah, don't
right,
field.
Or something like that. Right. So, that's how the table is.
Oh, I got something to say, and this is kind of off the subject, but did you notice the last week at RingCon, somebody bet the Big 6 and Big 8?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, my God.
I did.
The dealer actually announced it. He almost forgot to pay it. Oh, Big 6, Big 8. Somebody bet the Big 6 and Big 8.
She really was kind of a novice.
Yeah.
And luckily, she only bet like $4 on it. So that's what a place bet, it would have paid even money anyway. But no, I saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't correct her because what's the point? But Big 6 and 8.
Can you imagine trying to explain to her, well, if you put $5, $6 up there, you'll get 7.
I think she was struggling with everything else. I think
Yeah.
of that, so I didn't want to, confuse.
But
the
it
issue
was funny.
anymore.
I mean, a lot of tables don't have that
Oh
anymore.
yeah, well,
They-
Atlantic City, they don't have it. It's
Right,
it's
it's
against the
against the
law.
law,
Yeah, they
yeah.
can't have it out there.
well, and even in Vegas, a lot of them have taken it off because
Yeah.
it's just taking up room on the layout.
What we're talking about, there's on some layouts, kind of by the hook there, it says Big 6 and Big 8, and you just put money out there, like on the Big 6,
Right.
and it's just a bet, an even money bet that 6 will come up before 7. Even money. Well, the problem is that you can make that same bet by placing the 6, and you'll get paid 7 to 6.
Right.
$7 for every 6 that you bet. So why bet something that's only going to pay even money when there's an identical bet at the table that pays
Right.
7 to 6, right?
The funny thing is, I've always laughed about this. It says big, B-I-G, Big 6, Big 8.
Yeah.
What's the big about?
Like it's some important
that's
bet.
the Big 6. That's the weird 6 up there. Don't bet that. Bet down here with the Big 6.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, and we should say too, speaking of Harrah's Rincon, which is our, casino of choice around here, they've changed their name.
Oh yeah, it's
They're not
Harrah's
Rincon anymore. They're Harrah's Resort Southern California,
Yeah.
to try to appeal to, people from outside of the area. And it's certainly more descriptive, right? If you heard to Harrah's Rincon, you'd have no idea where it is.
Yeah, but my advice to all you people listening who don't live in California, you don't want to come to San Diego. It's not that nice.
It is a dump.
Yeah, it's a dump. And the weather, they talk it up. It's not really that good.
No, it has
No.
been so hot this winter.
Yeah.
A lot of people around the country don't want to hear this.
Saturday is March 16th. It's going to be 91 degrees at my house. You don't want to come here.
All right.
Wait, let me change that.
All right.
You don't want to move here.
You don't want to move here. That's why I've always said we need a big earthquake around here every 5 or 6 years
Yeah,
to
keep
scare
people away.
Keep people away. Yeah. So I think we're due for one here before too long. Yeah.
Don't say that.
All right. But anyway, thanks for those emails. That's the Don't Pass. If you have any questions about it, let us know. Okay. Let's move on to the Poker Home Game segment. This is the segment of the show where we talk about poker games that you would not find in a poker room at a casino, but that you might play with your buddies when you get together for a home game.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about a game that we played before. On episode 26, we talked about a game called 357, which is basically a guts game.
Yeah.
And we got an email from Kyle a while back who was talking about a similar game that he plays. And there were a couple things that were different about how we described it in episode 26.
Okay.
So I'm not going to completely describe Kyle's game as the way he said, but I'm going to describe a similar game and how the rules are different. So to remind everybody about 357, here's how it works. It's not a traditional poker game. At the beginning of the game, everybody antes, say, $1. And in this version of the game, you keep your ante right in front of you. So instead of throwing it into the pot,
Right.
you keep it right in front of you. So every player has their ante right in front of them, $1. Okay. Everybody gets 3 cards. All right. Starting with the player to the dealer's left, he looks and he decides whether he wants to play this hand or not. 3 card. You can have 3-card poker rules, or you can just say, okay, for 3 cards, you either have 3 of a kind or a pair or just high card.
Right.
Or you could play like 3-card poker where you have straights and flushes and that kind of thing. But that's up to you, really. how
Yeah,
you
it's
want to
probably
do it.
easier just to have the.
Just have pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, starting with that first player, he decides whether he's going to play or not. And if he says pass, then it moves on to the next player. He decides whether he's going to play until everybody has passed, or one player says, oh, I'm going to play these 3. Then, starting to his left, every player, including going back to maybe people that said they weren't going to play, have a chance to challenge him, to check him off. Right? And if they want to challenge him, they think they have him beat, he swaps cards with whoever is challenging him. They don't show the cards to everybody. They just look, they determine who won, and then they send cards back.
Right.
Okay? Whoever lost has to pay the winner however much money is in the ante for a single player at that point. So in my example, if it's the first round and somebody goes in, say you go in, so I'm going to play these 3 cards and I challenge you and we look and you beat me,
You owe me $1.
I owe you $1.
Right.
Right? Just whatever's out there. Okay. And then we deal 2 more cards to every player so that everybody has 5 cards. And now again, starting with the dealer's left, you decide whether you're going to play or not. 5-card poker, regular 5-card poker now, right? Same kind of rules, right? If somebody goes in and somebody decides to challenge him, whoever loses owes the winning player just that single dollar. And then another 2 cards are dealt out, and we have 7 cards. Now you're playing 5 cards out of 7, 5 poker. Same rules. Goes around, if you lose a challenge, you
pay $1.
Pay $1, right? Now, the game ends when a player has gone in and not been challenged by anybody, say 4 times. Every time that happens, it's called getting a leg.
Right.
So again, in my example, if there were 3 cards and Mike, you said, I'm going to go and I'll play these, and nobody challenged you, you'd get a leg.
I get a leg. Right. And once I've got 4 of those, or whatever you determine,
right,
then that is when I win.
Then you win the pot. You win everything in the pot.
Right. I win everyone's money.
So again, after the 7 cards are dealt, then everybody antes again. So now they're $2. So now the second round, it's $2. So you're playing for $2 on these challenges. The third round, it would be $3. So if you want more details, I think in the episode 26, when we were talking about 3, 5, 7, we also introduced wild cards. Where like 3s were wild on the 3 cards, 5 were wilds on 5 cards, 7 wilds on 7 cards.
Right.
But the difference was that when we described that first game, if you lost a challenge, you owed the winner everything that was currently in the pot. Right? So winning the game was, you'd win the same amount of money as just winning a challenge on that last round.
Right. Right. Sure.
So, it was much bigger deal to win a challenge than in this version that we've just described.
Right. So therefore, it was better for you to let somebody go in, and if you had a good hand and beat them and get the money, is just like winning the whole pot.
Right, exactly. And I have a reputation for, when we play this game at our home game, of being a dog. Yeah. That's somebody who says pass, I don't want to play, and then I let you, and I've got a great hand. I'm just sitting there in the wood, in the bushes, right? And then somebody says, I'll go in. And then I say, okay, I'll check you off. Yeah. Right. And, maybe they wouldn't have gone in if I had been the initial person to say I'm going to go in. Right. But, I said, I'll take a look at you. Oh, you dog. Yeah, right. So in
dog boy.
The old version that we talked about, dogging is much more profitable. Right. In this new version, it's not nearly as profitable.
No, because you're only going to get $1.
Right. Exactly. So last night, we play a version of this game called Buck 'em that is so complicated, we'll never describe it on this show.
If you want to learn that, you got to come play with us.
But the principles are still the same with Guts. So again, when we usually play Buck 'em, we play for the whole pot on every challenge.
Right.
So I introduced this last night, where we're just paying for they loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I even Bill, who usually calls this game. Yeah. He was especially excited because I'm usually the one who dogs him.
Right.
Right. And he calls me some terrible name. Right.
or your mother or something.
And, so he liked that because it's less profitable to dog.
Right.
And really what you want to try to do is win the game. You're not it's not as important to just win a challenge when you can.
Right.
You try to win the game.
Right.
And so they loved it. I have a feeling that might be the way we play it from now on.
Okay. Well, then thank you to Kyle.
Yeah. So when Kyle kind of described this. So again, it's basically the same game we described, 3, 5, 7 from episode 26. The big difference is on a challenge, you're only playing for a single person's individual ante. Yeah. Now, the ante still stays out there. It's not like you give the ante to the winner.
No.
The ante stays out there. You just, that's however much is in the ante, that's how much you owe him.
Right.
Yeah. And usually we play where we settle up after the 7-card hand deal on each round.
Oh, you should. Yeah. So
I think
people
that's a better
don't
way
know
to do
what happens.
People don't, people
Other
involved
people,
don't know what happened along the way. Yeah.
Right.
That's usually
because you might have a strong hand or he might have a weak hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's a different form of Guts or challenge. We used to call it challenge. And remember, back in the old days, Stan, our friend Stan, would call it, we played this constantly all night.
Oh, gosh. I mean, every other game was this.
It really was. And we played at baseball.
Yeah.
Remember that? So 3s and 9s were wild.
wild.
But did we get extra cards for 4s? I don't think we did.
I don't remember how that
remember.
worked. I mean, we have so many versions of this game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and Buckham really takes it to
Buckham is so complicated.
it takes it to the next level.
It is so complicated. When we have a new player and we explain it, they still don't pick up on it till we played it a few times.
Yeah, until they've been burned quite a bit.
That's right. Till they
It's
lost
the perfect game for
$50.
the new player.
Oh, we do have one player in our home game who never came back. He had like a full house on 7 cards and lost.
Yeah, right.
And the pot was like $60 or something, right? So yeah, it might chase players away. So that's our poker home game this episode. If anybody has a home game they'd like us to talk about on the show, drop us a line at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, on the left-hand side of our homepage under categories, there's a link called Poker Home Games. If you click on that, it'll take you to a page that lists all the home games we've talked about and the episodes on which we talked about them. All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonThat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. Also, be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our new hotline number.
Or audio.
Our new hotline number of 951-2-WAGERS.
WAGERS.
Yep. All you have to do is from the app, it says, contact the show, call the show, and boom, it'll take you right through. Also, with our app, you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk about a trip that we took to Bob Stupak's Vegas World. Short little audio talking about
Vegas World.
Fabulous Bob Stupak's Vegas World. With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday. I think it's going to be Thursday this week. I should start doing it Thursday. Every Thursday. I update these listings every Thursday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our homepage, and on the left side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We'd love to hear from you. Call our new hotline, voicemail hotline, or if you like, just drop us a line through our email address, youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, @youcanbetonThat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, thank you to everybody who's been giving us reviews over at iTunes. It helps us get new listeners, and we really love hearing what you think about the show. Dr. Mike, March Madness.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait.
It's coming up.
Can't wait.
Yep.
We're here in San Diego. San Diego State is ranked 8th in the nation.
Yep.
And I think well-deserved. That last game, they played really well.
And, that last game, I couldn't watch it. It was, for those not familiar, they were down 16 points.
With 7 or 8 minutes left to play.
And they won. I couldn't, really, I switched away. I couldn't watch.
Oh,
it
no,
was just terrible.
I actually didn't.
Yeah.
And then I saw they won, and I had put it on the DVR.
Yeah.
I rewound it and watched the whole second half because
Our friend Bill was there, so it's the best game he's ever been to.
Oh, yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. In fact, you're talking about San Diego. They're actually playing rounds 2 and 3 here. Some of the games are here, right? Rounds 2 and 3. I hate that the first round are those play-in round, right? It should be, just call them rounds 1 and 2. But anyway, technically rounds 2 and 3. All right, Mike, anything else?
No, I think that'll do it. Yeah, listen to the bonus audio and find out what's bugging me.
When are we going to Vegas next? Are we going for the World Series of Poker?
We might go before.
Are we going for the...
I might go this month.
Oh, that's right. You got a concert maybe you're going to with your wife.
Maybe later this month.
We need to go for the World Series of Poker and the Vegas Internet Mafia Family Picnic. Yeah. Even though we're not like a featured podcast in that, we got to go out there and schmooze.
Yeah, maybe we will.
Think about that. It's the same weekend as my birthday.
Oh, there you go.
All right. See you later, buddy.
Good night.